Okay, guys, we're in the final stretch for Christmas. The dog piece I was doing last week, it is done. It is done. I handed it off to the client yesterday. She's ecstatic. I have it posted on Facebook and I have it posted on X. So if you want to see the finished product, go right ahead. Um, Everybody who saw me work on it was like, "Oh my God, that's so good! I can't." I'm so excited to see that thing finished and how good it turned out. Now I'm working on the second piece, and I'm taking a break from working on that second piece to do work on this for John's long box. This is the printer's devil, and this is Boaz. So, and okay, let's see here. Do okay, there we go. So I gotta have to figure out like how I'm doing the. Because remember, this is a I do different tones. So this is a medium tone right here, a medium slash light tone. Actually, this would be the light tone, and medium tone will be down here. So, but okay, we're in signed comics. We are at week 50, which means we're actually going to have, when I do these, it's going to be a total of, I think, 53 weeks of signed comics just because of how the weeks fall. Because remember, 365 days, a year doesn't end on Sunday. So, but, so we start with day 333, Wrong Earth. Issue 2, signed by Tom Payer and Jamal Igle. And I really like this piece. This book is, it takes Batman 66 and The Dark Knight and what happens when they cross universes. And I liked it. I liked how they had it where they cross over and then they're in the opposite universe and they're trying to adapt. So where you have like The Dark Knight, he'll beat the living tar out of a criminal. Batman 66 doesn't do that, and he uses the name Dragonfly instead because he can't use Batman. So, but it was a good story. I liked it a lot. Solid artwork. And what's really shows is that like in the Batman 66 universe, he'll be like tied up, and he's going to be dropped into a uh, uh, boiling measuring cup. The giant measuring cup says pay earn right on the side. Found it very entertaining. So, but that is issue day 333. Enjoyed it a lot and I like the whole series. And he's done, I think, 2 to 3 series. Each story is 6 issues long. So, but it's very good. Enjoy it a lot. So, and then of course we have X Factor number 7 is on day 334, and it's signed by Louise Simonson. This was one of those I liked this issue because what is you can see right on the cover that there's two disformed mutants, and the way X Factor was worked out is for the public eye they are mutant hunters, and they hunt down mutants so they can rescue them and then train them and teach them. And so this is one of those scenarios where they have to show up as the mutant terrorists and they have to show up as the mutant hunters at the exact same time. So that they do that. The way they do that is they have like Rusty. They've saved him in issue number 1. So Rusty, they give him the fatigues of the mutant hunters, X Factor, while the Angel and Beast are showing up as the I guess mutant terrorists who are trying to rescue these aliens or these mutants. So I liked it a lot, and this is one of those issues that really got the first issue, first like maybe like 3, 4 issues, kind of okay, but really this was one of those first issues that got me into really enjoying the book and really looking forward to the next issue. And it shows because like by issue 11, you've got Walt now doing the artwork and Louise Simonson doing the story. And this is where you really get them firing all cylinders. This was actually, I'm surprised this is not listed as part of the Mutant Massacre, even though the mutants in the story are Morlocks. And of course, this issue, you've got the Morlock with the blonde question mark uh, mohawk firing his his electric lightning blasts at Cyclops, and Cyclops is completely getting lit up. And of course, anytime Cyclops is getting his ass handed to him, I'm going to love that. So, so this one is signed by Walt and Louise. So enjoy that. And I have a lot of X Factors because they both were in this worked on the title at the exact same time, and of course because their availability to see them being here in Pennsylvania, they do a lot of shows. In fact, last year they did the Lehigh show, and it was just great to see them. So from there we go to uh, day 336, X Factor number 38. Walt and Louise have both signed it, and Al Milgrom did the inks for it, which is, I wish that, I know exactly why. Is it because of uh, because of the workload? Bob Weik wasn't able to do the inks. He did the inks all the way up to like this issue, and then Al Milgrom took over, which is a shame because I would rather have seen Bob Weik's inks over Al's, but oh well. And of course, this is the big issue because this is one where uh, Madeline Pryor as the Goblin Queen is fighting Jean Grey, and of course, you know me, I am a Madeline Pryor fan, and I didn't like the fact that they made her evil. And even though she was evil, I was still hoping that somehow they'd have it where maybe not necessarily she wins, but she wins back her humanity. Um, but I hope she'd win back her humanity, and then of course hope that she would get to keep her son. But of course, no, that's not the way it's going to work. I remember Scott left his kid, and then he found her, and then remember Madeline was being chased by the Marauders and lost her son, and Scott gets his son back. You're trying to take my kid away from me. You abandoned your kid, you asshole. You don't deserve him. You don't deserve your kid. So, but no, she loses and she dies, and of course, the following issue, I think it was an X-Men issue where uh, Jean Grey is realizing that Madeline was nothing but a clone made by Mr. Sinister, and how they're so intertwined that when he's killing Madeline with her destroying her memories, Jean Grey is also losing at the exact same time, if I remember how the story went. But I really wish that they'd figured out some way to keep Madeline around because I did like her. So, but nope, can't have what we like. You gotta let Jean win. Jean. Uh, but oh well. And again, this is one of the reasons why I always prefer the X Men over X Factor. I really didn't become a fan of X Factor more so when, especially like after the uh, the Inferno. Uh, as much as I like Louise, the title languished. They had them like going off in space, fighting the Celestials, and the book wasn't that good. It just really wasn't that good um, at that time afterwards. So, um, there, I've said it. I didn't like it. It's okay for me to say it. I'm the customer, but and that's where I was like, hmm, I think after Inferno, I think Louise should have moved on to a different book, but she stayed on longer, and I think she was running out of ideas. Same thing with the New Mutants. I think she stayed in that book longer than she should have. So, but you got to keep in mind also is that if I remember correctly, this is where she was first getting. Was X Factor was like I think the first book where she really started to write. Um, Before this, she was really did a lot of editing. So, but moving right along, we have day 92. I'm sorry, day 337, X Factor number 92. This was one of those issues where the hollow foil And again, I like, even though it was a hollow foil, I Snugs once said to me, we went, well, like the gimmicks. I'm like, yeah, they did a lot of gimmicks. They did their best though to make the issues connected to these hollow foils significant and matter. They succeeded with uh, Uncanny X-Men. They succeeded uh, uh, with X-Men and Wolverine. But I didn't think they really nailed it, and they kind of did with X-Force. But X Factor, this issue, it was just a big action issue. So, but I still liked it, and having it signed, I was wanted to share it with you guys. So, because I have other X Factor issues I could have shared with you guys, but I picked this one for you to share with you guys. And from there we go to, let's see, we go to uh, day 338, X Factor number 119, and 119 is we have Steve Epting and Al Milgrom have signed it. I like this because they had introduced, I should say, not in this issue, but she was highlighted in this issue, Bishop's sister, Shard. She was back as like a holographic AI, and she goes on an adventure with Wild Child, and Wild Child, he's he's gained his humanity. He's no longer. Remember when he was introduced in Alpha Flight? He was just a feral creature, and they really did work with him to get his humanity back. So he was part of X Factor, and it was just a nice, enjoyable uh, story. I got the sense that like Wild Child was still uh, like a teenager. He wasn't an adult, so he would make mistakes, he would make errors, and of course Shard being a young his age, even though she was from a different timeline and a computer program, they got along and they associated with each other very very well. So, but after that we go to the final day of the week, which is X Force number 18. This was from and this was signed by Fabian Nicasia. This is from that oh god, era of extinction or extinction era. I forget what it was, but basically what it was is that uh, Professor X has been shot and killed by Strife, and he does it because Strife looks like Cable. He's framing Cable, so all the teams are going after X Force, and X Force is trying to figure out what's happening. And then, of course, in the issue, in this, which is I think this was the final issue of the story, Cable basically has to save his infant self from Strife, and Jean and Cyclops are caught in the mix. And but just the whole like Cable and Strife just going at it and beating the hell out of each other. The artwork I thought that Greg Capullo I thought was the perfect artist to close out this story, and just worked out very well. But then that's the last day of this week. So I will have more X Force, X Men, and then X Unlimited and X associated like issues after this, which you guys will see. So, but yep, I'm getting some progress here for you guys. And then of course, the next time you see me working on this will be when I do my next video. Most likely, I don't think I'll be showing the next piece I'm working on, just because I want to just work on it and just get to it. So just taking a quick break here. So, but you guys all have a great day. You know, I'm having a great day. And then, of course, remember, life is, of course, always going to be stressful, just as it's stressful for me getting all these commissions done. But I just take it all one dot at a time.